Next up, the Car Care Clinic, 111 Sports and GTs, and this is going to be a really epic battle. Leonard Archer, Cobus Brits, and Adrian Dalton again in the mix. Dalton's had a busy day in the saddle. Yorick Smith is always a big man to watch out for. Let's catch up with him.
It's a MX-5 with a little stock standard 1600 motor in. Yeah, I've got some suspension work and whatnot, but this track is magnificent with this car. It's extremely twisty. Get lost a couple of times, but yeah, still I can never get the hang of it at the moment.
Let's see what happens now in race number 1. Maybe we can get the hang of it now for Yorick as he comes in the back end with that MX-5. It's a big field heading down towards turn 1. Lights are out and we're racing. Look out for the battle at the front expected there. I can tell you right now there's going to be some big action as they go down towards turn 1. And look at how things are starting to heat up already. As Leonard Archer gets the whole shot there in the Honda Civic Type R. New car for him. Taking over the reins there from Bob Neal as he's the original owner, but certainly in great hands now with Leonard Archer. The 93 machine starting to make his way through there as well and putting massive pressure onto the back end of Henning. Henning starting to feel that too as they come through into turn 2 now. Hopkins getting forced wide there from front of Fafa as they came out of turn 3. 2 back-to-back 180-degree corners coming to a third 180-degree corner and then into a big triple left-hander. At the front end, Archer starting to pull away ever so slightly here from this field. You can see he's not too worried about the rest of the pack because seems to have the pace there. Cobus Brits doesn't have an answer just yet, neither does Dalton. Second pack of cars starting to heat up as well with Hopkins under pressure from Fafa, the Dev Law machine. That's the Subaru Works Impressor. Onto the back end of that little Polo. Now coming down on the brakes, under pressure is Labochki. Labochki feeling that pressure big time. And a big dive on the inside there from Henning. Henning trying to find his way through. Getting to grips with a brand new car there. Also a couple of guys changing machinery here. So it's probably a couple of niggles here. Little tweaks that have to be sorted out so they can get it absolutely perfect for themselves to drive. As opposed to what they were driving in the past. Come through, watch out in the background. Moritz LaRue starting to come into the picture as well. Not too far at the back of this little pack of cars as they go through the dog bone section. Look at this though. Leonard Archer just absolutely eating this field alive. Brits in second place. Dalton's in third in the Golf. That Extra Shoes and Clothing Golf 1 is a very, very seasoned campaigner in this category. Portke's pulled slightly away now. Labochki doesn't seem to have an answer in the second of the Golf 1s on track there. That's the Shield-sponsored one. And then behind him comes the Repsol car, pushing hard to try and get up there. Labochki is really under a bit of pressure here. As you can see, he's starting to be closed in there. And all of a sudden, we're seeing Cobus Brits starting to close that gap down ever so slightly on Leonard Archer. But Archer seems to have it all under control. Portke's all on his own. This is where the fight is at this stage. And you can see just how difficult that fight's going to be. Henning now all over the back and looking for a way through. And he hasn't found it just yet. But have a look at the pressure that's being applied there for 5th, 6th and 7th place. Another lap down, and it's all about Archer getting away from this pack. He's just hanging on and doing everything right there in the ACD Valco machine. Normally a Hyundai-sponsored driver. Loves to be in those in that brand, but he's changed allegiance ever so slightly to the other H that's available out there. And it seems to be paying off and paying dividend for him big time. A little bit of aerial material here from our drone as it comes out of turn 2 into turn 3. Showing you some of the backmarker battles that are starting to happen here in 111 Sports and GTs. The Car Care Clinic class really good at this stage, and looks like there's going to be some more battles to be sorted out before that checkered flag comes out. One of them might be here between Brits and the leader, Leonard Archer. Brits has closed him down rapidly in the last couple of laps, and it looks like Archer might just be feeling the effects of that new car. Maybe not used to having the additional amount of power that the Honda would probably have given him over what he had in the Hyundai. Take nothing away from his little Hyundai. They were very, very competitive little cars, but I'm sure he's loving life in that new machine. Roland Hopkins has been overtaken. Fafa's been just there or thereabouts, hasn't quite found a way past, and then eventually squeezed through just before they got into the dog bone. And now that he's through on the dog bone, he's going to try and get away there from that Polo. So here we go into the closing stages. I can tell you it's not going to be easier. These guys are going to push it to the limit. And here comes Henning along for the ride, closing down on the back end and looking for a way through there on Labochki. It's not over yet between these two either, as Fafa is going to feel the pressure all the way to the line. That Pragma Polo Classic is slowly but surely closing in on Archer. Amazing to see what Cobus Brits has done. I think that may even be one of the original Polo Classics from the original format of Volkswagen Polo Cup. And it's certainly got a great turn of pace still in the hands of Cobus Brits. Archer is leading things out, but battles continue right the way through. As you can see, Francois Henning starting to close onto the back there and look for a way past. The gap has definitely come down here between Brits and Archer. And that little Polo, as I said, around this circuit is certainly a great little car to have. And it's in good hands there with Cobus Brits as he looks to possibly spoil the day for Leonard Archer. Hopkins has kind of become on his own there. Hasn't been able to bridge the gap onto the back end of Fafa's Subaru. And looks like he's going to have his work cut out for him here in the closing stages of race 1. Potgieter's all on his own as well. He's gotten away from the rest of the pack, and in fact, he's actually got ahead of Adrian Dalton. Yorick Smith right at the back of the field, having a great time. He said he was loving life in this car in his interview, and this must be a really cool little car to be in today as well. The top down. Continued battle here for what is 4, 5 and 6 on track. Leader Leonard Archer into Bridgestone chicane for the flag. And the ACD Valcom man is going to be happy with his first performance and first outing in the new machinery. It's paid off and paid dividend. Coming to the line, he goes to Leonard Archer with Kobus Brits. Not too far behind, I've got to tell you, in that Pragma Polo. Dalton takes third place with Potgieter on his tail and was heading in 5 ahead of Van der Vyver with Lebotsky, Van Heerden, Roland Hopkins and Maritz Leroux, making up the top 10 here in Car Care Clinic 111 Sports and Saloons. Catch up with our winner, Leonard Archer.
Ja, nee, die kar loop baie mooi. Daar's geen probleem nie. Is regtig 'n baie lekker kar om te ry.
Johan Van der Vyver had a fantastic battle out on track in the Subaru, and Dave caught up with him down in pit lane.
You guys are involved in a hell of a dice, and once again a little bit of kitty litter involved.
Less than the usual, I'd say. The track is just, it's not my driving or the car, it's just the track is a bit narrow at some points. Way too narrow, like a meter too narrow. But other than that,
it was a great job.
yeah, it was lekker. It's just, I've got a bit of an issue with my steering, so I'm all over the place, but other than that, I'm fine. But I mean, the guys are used to me being off the road most of the time, so they won't believe the steering story anyway.
Welcome back to Red Star Raceway and Regional Extreme Festival action coming your way now with Heat 2 of Car Care Clinic 111 Sports and GTs. Leonard Archer's already taken a victory here today. Kobus Brits wants to try and spoil his day, and as the lights go out, he wants to get that Pragma Polo up on the inside of the ACD Valcom Honda. That Type R is very quick. Great start from Dalton. Much better start this time from him as he dives up on the inside and tries to find a way through and into possibly a hunt for the front end of the field. Potgieter side by side. Oh, a little tag between Potgieter and Lebotsky by the looks of it. Potgieter sideways and he is onto the grass on the inside. Looks like Lebotsky's going to join him out of sympathy. The two of them heading towards turn 2 on the grass in the kitty litter. And here comes Captain Kitty Litter himself, Van der Vyver. Will he stay out of harm's way? Yes, he will. Oh, what a pity there for Pete Potgieter. He's not going to be happy about that. The boys down at Nathan's Motorsport are going to be having a chat about that one as the Golf 1 definitely came together there. A little tag between the two of them. Here comes Yorick Smith at the back of the field having a little own fight there with Darren Gunnison. Superb stuff there from the little MX-5. And he was having an absolute blast in race number 1. He's looking forward more of the same in race 2 as they head down the short straight for the first time. Hopkins under pressure already from Van der Vyver. Van der Vyver diving on the inside. Is he good enough on the brakes? Hopkins is better on the brakes and just hangs on to get into the hairpin first. Hanging on their tail, looking for a way through as well to get into that fight. And looks like there's going to be some fun and games between the two of them. Francois Henning certainly has got to grips with this new car of his and is definitely looking to try and take on the big Subaru in front of him and the little Polo just ahead of that. It's a fantastic little fight here. It kind of was exactly what we saw in race number 1 as well, but they've opened up ever so slightly now as they're coming out of the dog bone and heading onto that back straight away. See some cars stuck on the sideline there from previous races. It's not involved in this race at all, but certainly some great battles still to be sorted out here in race 2 of the Car Care 111 Sports and GTs. No worries at all here for Leonard Archer. We heard from him how excited he was about this new car and how he got to grips with it relatively quickly. But Kobus Brits definitely wants to turn his luck around. He'd love to have that Polo Classic up onto the top step of the podium. Dalton would like to be there as well. Already seen him having double victories in BMWs. Can he do the same thing now in his Golf 1? It's a busy day in the saddle, and particularly here at Red Star Raceway, it is an exceptionally busy day. 4 kilometers of racetrack to play on, 13 corners to get through, and most of them are completely 180-degree corners. So you do tend to get a little bit lost out there if you don't know your way around Red Star, and that's probably what Lebotsky's done. No, he's had some problems. He's eventually got back on track. But Dwayne Lebotsky and Pete Potgieter are coming together early on. It took a long time for Lebotsky to get back on track, but he's eventually there, and I think he's gone back into pit lane to retire. Look at Dalton though, a lot closer this time to the back end of that Polo. The Polo Classic of Kobus Brits certainly under a lot more pressure than he was in race number 1 as they head back down into the Dogbone section now of Red Star Raceway. And the Golf 1 is closed down on that Polo Classic. Dalton looking for a way past and looking very dangerous at this stage. Just put in a slightly quicker lap than what we saw out of Kobus Brits, so he's definitely closing that gap down every single time they cross the stripe. And there's a good possibility that he could potentially be ahead and into second place by the end of the second heat. Issues here, unfortunately, for the 124 car, Maritz Leroux in the BMW, parked on the sideline and out of race number 2. Oh, there's a little bit of issues as well coming out of a smoking gun. The 35 of Deeren Gassenen having some issues there. And that Motel and Torch machine, the Torch Tools machine, having some problems of his own as he went down into the dog bone. No worries at all, though, for our leader. Absolutely dominant factor once again is Leonard Archer here and leading out Class GT and looking for his second victory. And this looks like it could be a second victory as well here for a very charged up Cobus Brits. Pragma Polo has been fantastic. The Bush and Buck Polo having a fantastic day in the saddle is Roland Hopkins. And Hopkins looking for a class victory as well here if he can. Looks like Class B might be in his hands. GT's looks like it's definitely in the hands here of the ACD man from Velkom. And as I said, as we spoke to him in between the races, he seems to be in absolute honor of how well this car works and how quickly he's got to grips with it. It was really good in the hands of Bob Neal. So he's basically bought himself a race-winning car and he stepped up into it and looks like he might be taking 2 victories here today. Don't think Brits is going to have an answer. Up on the sideline there, I think that was one of the Pabar machines there from Volkswagen Challenge. It wasn't one of the cars involved here in 111 Sports and Saloon, so don't worry too much about that. Looks like some fun and games there for Jan van Heerden as well. JVH Service Polo having a fantastic run too here in his second race. And a new man to the series is definitely looking forward to being in some big battles here in 111 Sports and GTs. Dalton doing it all right. He's in third place, a massive margin up to fourth, but he hasn't been able to catch the back end of the Polo. So coming to the line, it's going to be another victory here for ACD Velkom's man. And yet again, no worries whatsoever for the Honda as it comes to the line. Just behind some of the back markers, the flag is out. He takes the overall victory, and he'll also take GT honours. Adrian Dalton taking second place, and Class A with some problems for Cobus Brits on the last lap. He drops down to 10th place overall. And there is your top 10 overall. Let's catch up now with second place and winner of Class A, Adrian Dalton.
We had an awesome day in 111. The little Golf from 8V Performance did the job, ran faultlessly. Got a bit of luck there, a couple of people falling out, but all in all good. We've got to thank Sipa and the boys here for all the work they did on the cars today. It was an awesome day.